guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a few days. It's been a crazy few days. As you can see, I'm not in my house. I'm in a hospital room. So if you follow me on Instagram, you kind of know what's going on, but I figured I would give a little more of a detailed update. So I had an appointment on Wednesday, which Wednesday was July 29th. So I had an appointment. Let me see if I can close this window. Hold on. So July 29th, which was a Wednesday, I had a doctor appointment at my normal OB appointment, and then the following day on Thursday I was supposed to have a appointment down at Hopkins just for, you know, an ultrasound, my normal appointments down there, to get everything looked at, gross scans, all that good stuff. A couple days leading up to, like over the weekend and a couple days leading up to Wednesday, I just had my back had really been hurting and getting way more Braxton Hicks than I normally do. I just wasn't feeling the greatest, but you know, 2 babies in there, to be expected. So I took the boys for a walk in the morning and took them to the park because I knew it was going to be hot that day, and I knew I had an appointment and a babysitter was going to be over. So we got up, we had breakfast, we took a walk, went to the park, came back, played at home. They watched a little bit of TV. The babysitter came over, they started playing. I went up and got myself ready for my appointment. So I got way down for his nap, and then I left for my appointment. And my appointment was around 1:30, 1:45. So I got there a little early. I had planned to stop at Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee and some type of like croissant. And the line was way too long and I was going to be late, so I didn't stop. So I drove a little further, closer to where my doctor was, and I knew there was a Starbucks by there. So I was going to stop at Starbucks and get like a little sandwich or something like that, and get like an iced coffee or something, or some water. Of course, the line was super long, so I was like, well, I can't stop. So I knew I was going to be a few minutes early for my appointment, but I didn't want to be late because I hate being late. I pulled in the parking lot. I was, you know, checking my phone, doing whatever. It's like, okay, I should go in now. As I get out of the car, and if you don't want like TMI stuff, don't watch this video. I'm just gonna verbally tell you, I'm obviously not gonna show you anything, but just, it's about birth and giving birth to babies and all that good stuff. So if you don't, I'm sorry I'm so out of breath. I've been laying in bed for the past like 3 days on bed rest, so my breathing has not been the best. So anyways, as I get out of the car, I felt a little, I've never broken, my water has never broken by itself with my other 2 babies. I've always had like contractions, gone to the hospital, and they've always broken my water. My water's never broke on its own. So I wasn't quite sure. So I got out, like as I was getting out of the car, I felt some discharge. I guess that's what you would call it. And now when you're pregnant, it's normal to get it, but this was more of a watery consistency I could feel. So in my mind, I'm like, So I go in, she asked me, you know, to leave a sample. I said yes, however, I think I may have leaked some water. And she said, okay, you know, still try to go to the bathroom and we'll get you all checked out. And there was a wet spot with some blood. So of course that's freaking me out. So now I'm freaking out that my water is breaking, I'm bleeding, there's something wrong. I was a total disaster. So she takes me into the exam room and does my blood pressure. Normally it's really normal, perfect. Of course it's super low because I'm freaking out. And of course she does the test to see if there was any amniotic fluid leaking, and there was. However, she said because you are bleeding you know, the test can't be 100% because it could have came in contact with some blood, and that could have skewed the results. So she had me, a doctor or my nurse is going to come in here in a little bit because I have to be monitored. The babies have to be monitored, so I might have to put this video on pause, but it will be back shortly if a doctor does come in, or my nurse. So, but she wanted me to go straight to the hospital. I said, well, I have a babysitter at home with my 2 kids. Can I go home first, you know, and wait for my husband or somebody else to get there? And she said, no, you need to go straight to the hospital. Videos all over the place. Let me get my thoughts together. I go to the car. I'm freaking out. I call my mom because she was getting home from a camping trip that she went on, and I didn't know if she was home yet or she was still on her way home. It was like 2.5 hours away. Thank the Lord she had gotten home just a little bit ago, so she went straight over to my house. I called the girl's mom who was babysitting and, you know, told her the situation of what was happening. So I got all that situated, and then I called Rob to tell him what was going on, and thank goodness, again, he was actually on getting ready to get on the highway to come home from work. So he was not too, he was like 20 miles behind me on the highway when I got on the highway. So he was just meeting me at the hospital. Because of COVID and everything that's going on, like 3 of the main entrances to the hospital are closed. So I didn't even know where to go, first of all, because normally they have like a maternity entrance where it's just for maternity and labor and delivery patients. You just go through that entrance. That was closed. Then the next main entrance, that was closed. So the only 2 entrances that were open were all the way on the other side of the building. So I had to walk back to my car thinking, you know, I'm still leaking water. My shorts are pretty much soaked at this point. So I get back in the car, I drive all the way over, I have to park. There's another main entrance all the way on the other side, so I had to go over there. And when you get in, there's only like 1 person checking you in, doing your temperature, all of that stuff, and there was like 3 people ahead of me. So I'm just sitting there waiting. Come on people, come on people. It's annoying. Like, I get why they have to do it, but it's still annoying because I'm mentally freaking out on the inside. So we finally get back to a labor and delivery room. She does the 2 tests. One, I get back into labor and delivered to see if my water actually is leaking or has broke, and both tests came back positive, and the one is 99.9% accurate, and it came back within like 2 seconds that it was positive. And it can take up to 10 minutes. So it was definitely positive for amniotic fluid. So that means I have what's called as preterm premature rupture of the membranes. So that means my membrane has ruptured and I'm leaking amniotic fluid. However, it's not broken and I'm not going into labor yet. Well, I was, but they stopped it. Specialist who's local was actually at the hospital, and he came right in to check on me, and he gave me the rundown of everything. So I'll be having these babies today, or so in my mind I thought, because my water had broken and I was kind of having contractions, that, you know, these babies might be coming today or tomorrow. So he gave me the rundown of kind of what's going to happen, and basically could be in the hospital up until 34 weeks, but that is the longest that they will let you go, or let me go, with keeping them in with the water broken if there's nothing else wrong. So I don't get an infection, their fluid doesn't get too low, things like that. So you know, he gives me the lowdown of what's going to happen, and I was like, excuse me, I could be in the hospital until when? So again, 34 weeks. So up until 34 weeks. So I just turned 31 weeks today, and it's Saturday, August 1st. And I could be in the hospital up until 34 weeks. So 3 more weeks of me sitting in the hospital. And with everything that's going on, Rob is the only person that's allowed in. with him being able to get somebody to watch the kids or something like that, or him not, you know, going to work. So I'm pretty much here by myself most of the time, which, I mean, I can deal with. The hardest part is not seeing the boys. I've been FaceTiming them, you know, a couple times a day, but they don't understand what's going on. Lincoln wants to come to the hospital. So it's been hard, but so I had to do a COVID test, which I had done before down at Hopkins because I had my hospital stay there, but it was not the same. They did a rapid test down there, and she's like, oh, we're gonna give you another rapid. I was like, okay, I know what, you know, I know what that is like. She's like, oh, you've been through this before. Okay. Boy, was I wrong. And down at Hopkins, they swabbed, but they didn't like jam it like back in your brain. It was like a swab and a swab, and yes, it was uncomfortable, but it was fine. This one, no, she stuck it so far back in my brain. I was like, oh, that's definitely not what I had the first time. But anyways, we got that done, and it was supposed to be sent off. So they get me settled in a room and start me on magnesium and get me all settled. And we're like, Rob cannot leave, and if he does, then he cannot come back until my results come back negative. So we were just waiting for him, you know, my results to come back for him to be able to leave, so he could make sure that he could come back and forth and everything like that. So my results never came back. They keep checking on them. Well, apparently the lab sent them out for like the couple day testing, not the rapid 1 to 2 hours. So she asked me if I could do it again, or or Rob would just have to wait, or he could leave and just not come back. So of course I had to do it again, which, you know, wasn't fun, but so I had 2 COVID tests in one day within a couple hour span. So my second COVID test came back negative, and Rob just ended up actually staying the night with me because I was on the magnesium and I was not feeling good. I kept on having contractions. The babies kind of were all over the place, so we just thought it was best that Rob just stay in case something did happen and we had to go into an emergency C-section or something like that. At this time, one was breech and one was laying transverse, so either way if I had to do anything, it would be a C-section. So I was on the magnesium for 24 hours. I was also on antibiotics because they don't want you getting an infection from your water breaking. So that was the first 24 hours, which was basically hell because they have to keep you on the monitor the whole time. They can't take you off, and those monitors are not fun. It's just not fun. It's very uncomfortable. Your back, like, plus you're having contractions, and my contractions always go to my back anyways, and then with the monitors on, it's just not a fun situation to be in. So that was pretty much the first 24 hours. After I got off the magnesium, I was still having a few contractions, but nothing steady or nothing timeable, like every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, like they were coming. So they had definitely slowed down, which was a good thing because, you know, we want to keep these babies in as long as possible. So right now I'm just in a regular room. So usually you go to labor and delivery, deliver the baby, you go to a recovery room, you recover there with the baby for a couple hours, and then you get moved over to a regular room. That is where I am right now. I don't have to be monitored all the time. I get monitored 3 times a day. So I've been able to take a shower. Rob's been bringing me stuff from home little by little. So my mom and my sister have been helping out so much. So anytime that they can come over to watch the boys for a little bit, Rob will come over, bring me something to eat because hospital food is not the best food. So he's been bringing me stuff little by little. So that's been our journey so far. Again, I'm 31 weeks today. And right now I'm in here until the babies are born. So it could be any time, a day, 2 days, a few days, a week, or up to 3 weeks, up to 34 weeks. So we definitely know we'll be in the NICU for a little bit. We just don't know how long. So I'm hoping we can keep these babies in as long as we can. We kind of knew having the ttts and having that surgery, the average, you know, from having the surgery to delivery is about 10 to 11 weeks. And I had that surgery at 19.5 weeks. And my membrane ruptured at 30.5 weeks. So that puts me right at that 11-week mark. So we, we're lucky we even, made it this far. So now we're just holding on. We made it to 31 weeks. Hopefully we can at least make it to 32 weeks. Yes, I don't want to stay in a hospital room for all this time, but if that's what is best for the babies, and I know that Rob and my mom and my sister and whoever else is helping, at home, they got the kids covered. It's hard not being with them. And Lincoln made a comment, I think when I was talking to him yesterday. He goes, "Mommy, are you still at the hospital?" I said, "Yeah, buddy, Mommy's gonna be in here for a while until your baby sisters come." He said, "Well, you can't be there for 100 days. We need you too." It's like broke my heart. Or I know Rob said this morning that Lincoln was like, "I need to go to the hospital. I'm sick." Like little things like that. It's just hard. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and if you want to keep following along, please subscribe, like this video, and hit that bell notification, and I'll see you guys in the next one.